Hello everybody, does this make it better? And today we're doing What If Deku Was a Mutant Part 4. And I'm really sorry that it took me this long to make a Part 4, but I really thought I made another one last week and I checked, didn't do it. So I'm sorry about that. So in turn, this video will be an hour long. I'll try my best to get it up there, and I hope there's no empty space throughout the whole thing. And with that said, let's get back to the story. Zuko, after talking to his friends, well, Todoroki and Momo, the rest of the months, 2 months, has passed, and it's all seemed normal. But really, everybody's now training hard for UA. Zuko is just training because he's forced to do it because of his father. Yes, Nezu. I almost forgot him. Almost. Not a psychopath. Almost. But one of these days, Zuko decided to go out and kind of play hooky. He's skipping school. He doesn't really have to be there, but his father, well, Nezu told him to be there. He didn't feel like it, so he skipped school and went over and just walked around a few times. During this time, there was a incident, a villain attack that was easily taken by One for All. All Might. Why can't I think correctly? And suddenly, the scene of the Slush villain attack, the second part, comes up. Zuko is walking down the path, just basically looking around and, well, just thinking about things. As he gets to an area where a crowd of people are starting to yell, scream, talk loudly, he was trying to avoid that area, but when he looks closely on why they're talking like that, he sees a huge bonfire of sorts on the side of the walls and a villain of liquid green sludge. Zuko was going to pass by thinking that the heroes have covered this. But all the heroes saying that they can't get in, their quirks are not working perfect for this for this situation, and the kid is struggling a lot. Zuko sighs, put his bag back down on the corner, his jacket too, since it's one of the new ones that he just bought today. He doesn't want to get ruined, and kind of stretches, pops his knuckles, his back, just to get more flexible. As he jumps a bit, some of the civilians looks back and asking what the kid's doing. You can't. What are you doing, kid? Just get out of here. We don't need any child to be in this situation. As this Zuko doesn't look at him, he just immediately rolls his two tails and start running. Now, he just jumped over the crowd and the lining of the heroes from the battle. Well, the little situation, hostage situation. Zuko jumped over all of that and decided to start rolling with his tail to make a huge, wagon wheel size cartwheel towards it. And when the sludge villain was touched by Zuko's tail, it feels more physical and attacking him itself. Zuko notices that it's actually affecting him more than it would with anything else. So Zuko decided to sprout out two more tails and start attacking it more like pinpoints, kind of like gunshots. But when it goes through, the sludge villain actually feels pain when they spread out. And Zuko's doing multiple times with his tail to a point where it's just outline of the child that is still there, that is throwing a huge explosion just to get out. Zuko grabbed him, this very kid, and pulled him out. Tossed him all the way over to the heroes, just feet away from the heroes, hitting the ground, and he's coughing up a bunch of sludge. As the heroes are taking care of this and yelling at the kid to stop, Zuko did not. He is still attacking it until the sludge itself either gives up or passed out. And Sludge Villain is just screaming in pain to get this kid off of him that he's trying to get away. Zuko notices this, turns, well, immediately make his tails disappear, sprout out wings, and starts running faster towards him. And his wings, well, they're technically feathers that has fire on them. So when they come off of him and just gently touch the sludge itself, it starts to burn. And Zuko, well, it doesn't. He thinks that it's probably his quirk, but could have been something else that's been tested on him. But after that, Zuko didn't hear it, but the crowd heard it. That, well, golly, he just speeds up for that. But All Might appeared out of nowhere. Well, he was at the back of the crowd, but no one saw him. He appeared from nowhere, decided to throw a huge Detroit smash towards the sludge villain, making a huge air pocket in the air and start to make it rain. Zuko, he was hit by this blast and was forced all the way to a building and into its wall. But luckily, he turned off his wings and brought out his armor. Right now, he's able to cover up his arms. So he used it just enough to protect some parts, and the rest, when he finally get off of it after a few seconds, All Might was taking care of the media and the people, while Zuko was stuck in a wall being ignored, but he didn't care. He preferred to be ignored and not deal with the people. When he got off, he made a big ruckus. All the rocks that was, well, in the wall that he just compressed finally fall off. Some of the rebar that's on his back or some scratches is still leaving a kind of a mark, but it's slowly healing where the blood stopped flowing. And with all the sounds and rock crumbling, All Might looks over, saw what he just did to this kid and was running toward. In a flash, Zuko prepared himself because, well, he didn't look up, and was prepared to throw another punch at All Might's weak point, which All Might protects it, covering his hand, well, and grabbing Zuko's hand and asks, "Oh, sorry, young man. I didn't see you there. I'm very sorry." And he's trying to be very polite to this kid, expecting him to be a fanboy, so he's just waiting for that. And Zuko said, "Oh, it's you. Oh my gosh. You got this, right? You take care of them, right?" Anyway, as he moves some of his hair out of the way of his head and eyes, Zuko walks away. Little did they both know, they were filmed. Well, a guy had his phone out and videotaped the whole thing, and he let it out to YouTube and society itself that All Might defeated a sludge villain and it was all cool and that, but it's just enough for Nezu to see that Zuko was there. And Nezu did not like this, because Zuko could have handled it way quicker. He saw his training, and when he gets home, he's gonna be in a world of trouble. Zuko walking over to his home over at UA. Yeah, I think I'll make it in the college. No, wait, high school. Yeah. No, college. Great. Whatever. I'll think about it. I believe I made it into a college. Alright, it's gonna be college. I can't get it correctly. But Zuko's walking towards there, but he gets stopped by All Might. As All Might congrats him for being such a heroic person and how great and useful his quirk was in that situation. Zuko is annoyed by this by now and really wants to leave, but he can't use his quirk or he might destroy his new jacket. So he had to stand there and just wait for him to finish his speech. And when Zuko assumed that he was done, he said, "Alright, that's enough. I don't care what you're trying to sell me or what you're trying to do, but can you please move? I need to get back home soon." Which All Might feels a little offended that this kid is saying like this, but he went along and asked him if he would like to be a hero in his name. And Zuko said no. Straight up, he did not want whatever All Might was selling. He knew what was coming, and he preferred to get there and explain himself to Nezu, or never let it down. So Zuko walks away, which All Might thinks this kid is very high and mighty, believing he's perfect in any way, which Zuko doesn't think that. He just prefers not to deal with any of this shit. Which All Might ask him if he wants to gain more power. And Zuko, that kind of ticked him off because of his past of people wanting to gain more power from him. And Zuko looks back with a dead glare at All Might. Even All Might is now scared of what this kid might say. And he said, "No. Now leave me alone," as he walks away. All Might, realizing how scared he was, thinks he may have made a quick decision a little too fast. So he went back and chose someone else. Of course, it's going to be Muriel, because Muriel is going to need the quirk on what I'm doing. Back to Zuko. When Nezu finally gets there, he's just sitting there in his chair, his favorite chair, with his favorite tea. Zuko can smell it for a mile away, but really he can't smell it. Right when he enters the room, Nezu asks him, "So?" Which Zuko said, "I'm assuming that you saw the video. Saw something." Which Nezu said, "Yes, I saw a video of you there, and quite literally doing the bare minimum attacking this sludge." And Zuko said, "Well," and Nezu said, let me finish. "And because of that, I'm going to send you a punishment. You are not allowed to go anywhere else. I will not give you any more money for anything to buy. You are going straight to school, back here, train until the UA exam. Do I make myself clear?" And Zuko said he did not think it would be this bad. And Nezu said, "Do I make myself clear?" Zuko said, "Next time I will try harder." Which Nezu said, "Great. Now you can go ahead and make some food." And Zuko said, That's the only good thing about Zuko. He can actually cook very well, especially coffee. And Nezu loves how Zuko makes his coffee. So when Zuko makes his dinner and preparing it, having it all almost done, just need to wait for it to be completely cooked, Zuko makes 2 cups of coffee. And if you watch Tokyo Ghoul, you should know what I'm talking about. The perfect way of making coffee. And when Zuko gave Nezu his cup and Zuko himself, they sip. Peace. And Nezu decided on that moment, because Zuko actually add more effort into the coffee so he can get a lighter sentence. And Nezu knows this, but the coffee is so good that Nezu said, "Alright, what do you want?" Zuko said, "Can I at least have the weekend off?" Nezu thinks about it. That'd be that's a lot. 10, 15. If you make this coffee on the weekends, I will allow it. And Zuko said deal, as they both sip up their coffee as they have their dinner. 10 months pass. Zuko has been gone through the ringer. Hard work. Zuko has gotten scars from all of this. Nezu being the very person training him, as well as other teachers, Zuko thought it was gonna get even worse, but he actually handled it perfectly. But it wasn't just training; it was all of English, science, math, history, everything that Nezu taught him. To a point where if he took a test, he's gonna ace it, no matter what the test is. And Nezu's very proud of this. And Zuko is not happy. Well, he's happy, of course, that he got proper training, but he's just kind of tired. Well, he's actually really tired. He's yawning almost during all of his classes. It doesn't matter because he got straight A's to all of it, to a point where he even surpassed Momo. And Momo felt a little, just a small snippet of pain that someone in her class, especially Zuko, was able to pass her in grades in a short amount of time. He surpassed her right when he got back. After those 2 other months and 2 more, after those whole thing, she is second throughout the rest of the year. And then Todoroki's third, and everybody else. But for them, they see that Zuko's been acting basically the same. And during the whole high school for Zuko, the last year, of course, he noticed that Momo has been talking to him a lot more, other than just schoolwork, but actually what he does afterwards. And he tried to make it seem like average, because he doesn't want them to know how hard he really trains. And so he just tells her that he just trains right after he gets to school, right after he gets home. Right when he gets home, he trains, and when he goes to sleep, that's when it stops. Which Momo thinks it's just like an hour or two, and Zuko's just making it sound like it's an hour or two. Now, the day comes for of the entrance exam. Momo and Todoroki took the invitation. I forgot what it's called, but basically the other form. And they were expecting to see Zuko since, well, Zuko was in the class, very high and seemingly powerful quirk as well, that they expected him to be there as well. But they didn't, and same old on the testing. I don't even know what happened there, but Momo passed, Todoroki passed, everybody passed there, but they were only 2 spots for Class 1A. And now for Zuko, we put our perspective on him. He's entering through the gate, but instead of in the main gate, like most of the students, he saw one person about to fall over. So he picked them up with his tail, well, kind of like just pulled them by their shirt itself, where they didn't fall and caught themselves, and they readjusted, looked where the tail was coming from, saw Zuko, and said, "Oh, I'm very sorry, thank you," and she ran off. He thought, okay, that was weird, but okay. If he gets to, well, take the seat with the rest of the teachers. The teachers know Zuko very well, but one extra teacher is there. And he looks over to the kid, and he's confused on why a kid is in the teacher's lounge watching the videos as well. And when Nezu finally comes in, he sit right next to Zuko. But to his knowledge, he thinks he's sitting right next to him. They're only a space away. That All Might is sitting next to Zuko. And he doesn't know why Zuko's there. But he'll ask about it after the meeting. After the exam. So everybody have gone through their paperwork, and Zuko's just asking Nezu. Sorry, he's asking Nezu, what's the deal with all of this. As Nezu explained to him, well, quietly, but just barely enough to hear, or for All Might to hear just a little bit, that you have passed everything, and by my teachings, you're basically perfect. So you don't need to take this extra stuff. Zuko said, yeah, I get that, but why am I here? I'm not gonna help with anything. And Nezu said, no, I just want you to see how I want to place a bet with you. And Zuko said, oh, a bet? That's rare. What you want to bet on? And Nezu gets an evil smile and asks him, if you can bet correctly, which of these kids gonna be your classmates, I'll put something in a good word with your supplier. And Zuko said, oh. So you're saying if I get every single one of them correctly, I can actually get more coffee? And Nezu said, yes. So what's in it for you? Why would you do this? And Nezu said, nothing. What are you talking about? It's nothing for me. I'm just having a playful bet. And Zuko said, sure. Alright. It better be 10 times the amount I usually get. And Nezu said, of course. It's only for the best. But no, if you get one person wrong, all of it goes bye-bye. And Nezu kind of chuckles and drinks his tea. And Zuko said, you're a really piece of work. But can I at least go down there and check them out? And Nezu said, I'll allow it. But you must get back here right when the robots attack. Zuko said, yeah, I'll be back. As it gets down to their testing area, everybody, all of them, are in one room doing the testing. And Zuko just walks in, said hi to President Mike, and watch the kids, which President Mike already knew about him and not gonna question anything. But Ida looks at this and was trying to complain, but President Mike tells him to stay quiet and focus on the paperwork. And President Mike asks him what he's doing here. And Zuko said, well, nothing, I'm just here to watch. Zuko is writing down some names, and he got about 50 people that seems like they can do it. And then he adds, well, the leftovers that he probably would think of. So this is basically class 1, class B, C, well, A, B, and C students. He's planning to go above and beyond just to show up but he knows if he does this, that the next bet will be even harder to do. So Zuko is guessing. He already knows that the other day that Momo and Todoroki have already passed and decided to stay there and go to UA. So he already got 2 freebies. Now the rest, these other 17. He named some of the higher grading people, and they seem like the perfect fit, but he needs to know what their course is gonna do. That's the most important. So he gets up and leaves with his notebook. He, instead of going to the computer room like Nezu asked, Zuko stayed outside of the classroom, of the area that they were having their test. Everybody was getting off and leaving with smiles, grums, and worry on how they did. And Zuko can read their expressions. And he asked one question as they're passing by. What did you get for this question? If they answer, like, no problem, they're off the list. Because it's a very difficult question, because the answer is actually on the person himself. Since Nezu makes the test, Nezu makes it where they answer in a way that you can see their personality, and that's perfect for Nezu. But Zuko, he knows about this question and knows the correct answer and how it's supposed to be said. 3 people have said the perfect answer, and he knows that they will be also into class 1A. The others gave the rough amount, but seems like a heroic trait, so he got them under the line of maybe or maybe not, depending on their quirks now. And heroic points. Moving on, Zuko now, after everybody gets to their assigned gates, Zuko went over and sat on his seat. Nezu asked him, so, did you get all the answers yet? Zuko said, not yet. I only have half of the class. I believe I can get more from here. As he points out 3 of the 4 that will have the potential class 1A candidates. As the doors were open, a few of them actually rushed in right when President Mike says go, which was expected. Nobody was ever going to get that first quiz right. But everything goes well. And then Nezu said, hey, it's getting real close to the end of the test. I guess I should bring out the special toy. As he pressed a button, and each of their gate, a respective gate, one robot of the zero pointer appears at the same time and start attacking, well, going forward until the gate is covered. One gate was cleared, everybody got out of the way. The other one, there was some destruction of the buildings and some kids did get hurt, but others actually saved them, and Zuko knocked that down. Another gate, some kid just exploded a huge robot in its face and push all the gears inside itself, destroying it in a way that it can't move. And Zuko, he looks over to one gate and sees this robot going a little slower than the others. And he actually gets off and leaves. He sees something there and looks like that no one else saw it. But when he gets to the gate itself, he actually starts flying. He flaps his wings. It's still short, but it's actually strong. He goes over to the gate and starts flying onto each building. And when it gets to the zero pointer, he looks down and sees a girl. And he looks everywhere else, and there's no kid in sight going to rescue her. And she's about to get crushed. About 2 more steps of the zero pointer, and she's about to get crushed. So Zuko kind of thinks that this might be affecting her points, but she will be the last one for Class 1A. So he's going to rig it to, he's going to get a perfect point amount. All 20 students are going to be there. Well, he's going to get 17. So he knows every angle, every camera that is there, and he knows that one is watching this girl. As she was crying and asking for help, knowing that no one's coming, she sees a huge shadow coming down, and she just screams out in a weak, with no air in her lungs, help. And that instant, Zuko swooped in, pushed the robot off of her, grabbed her, have her tightly onto his chest, and cover himself in armor with the girl itself, her, and the robot's foot stepped down. 2 more steps went by, and the robot is still walking, leaving a huge indent on every step it took. As the robot, and now even some of the teachers, even All Might, is worried about this girl, that she just got crushed or even killed by that robot. And when they saw the foot finally leaving, they see a black spear. And Nezza said, so that's where he is. I figured as much, as he drinks his tea. Now, some of the teachers notice that and knows who that is. But All Might asking, what's going on? I thought her quirk was like gravity or something, making things float. Does she have like another quirk? As she's saying this out loud, and now the teachers learn that All Might doesn't know about Zuko. As Zuko now disconnects the shield itself and making it retract to all the way back to his shoulders. Well, his center of his spine. As it goes back, Araka looks up to the guy, and all she can say is thank you. She is crying in his arms, in his chest, that she was so scared that she was gonna die. And she's just crying into his arms. Zuko, just holding her now, taking her all the way over to Recovery Girl. And Recovery Girl sees Zuko shirtless. His shirt is completely gone, and asks him, why is he doing here? Don't you know flashing is against the law? And Zuko said, Ma'am, Miss Recovery Girl, please. This is very serious. As he put down Baraka and asked her to hear her. As Recovery Girl do, and she's fine, but she looks up to Izuku and asks, where did you find her? Why is she so shaken? And Izuku said, she was almost crushed by the 0-pointer. Luckily, I was there to see it and stopped it. As Recovery Girl said, oh, I see. Okay, I'll take care of her. You must go now. You're not allowed to be here, remember? As Zuko said, yes, I know. He looks down on her and asks if she's going to be okay. And Recovery Girl said, yes, I'll make sure she's healthy when she leaves. And Zuko said, okay, thank you. As he leaves and gets back, Nezu already got the people, the scores, and he was about to test them out and use their tests and see who's going in and out. But he wants to see what Zuko has come up with. When Zuko finally walks in with his notebook and put down that girl's name, Nezu asks him, what is your answer? Zuko. And Zuko said, the last one was a long shot. She could probably barely get in. But everybody else has a good chance of being great heroes. So he gives him the paper, and Nezu said, perfect. As he put their names down on each of everyone and said, there. Now you have your 20 students, Mr. Aizawa. Aizawa looks at the paperwork, says, great. More problems. And Zuko said, so, which ones did I get wrong? And Nezu said, since you helped save that girl, and you help with some of your friends, I'll let it pass. Instead of 10 times, how about 5 times, since I used your reference for the classroom? And Zuko said, I knew it. It's going to be some kind of deal. Alright, I'll take the 5 times. Which Nezu said, great. Now, would you make a coffee for me? And Zuko said, sure. The usual, right? Nezu said, yes. It's the same as always. As Zuko leaves, going to an office, they don't have the proper equipment, but he still managed to make it perfect. I can keep going, yeah. Here we go. Next. 2 weeks has passed. Everybody was entering through. Zuko was the first one to his classroom. And he went all the way to the back, put his head down, and sleep. He actually brought a pillow this time into his classroom. Then rest of the classmates are coming in. Some of the background characters are coming in. When Todoroki and Momo finally came in at the same time, they were wondering where Zuko is. And, well, Momo is looking through each aisle, saying hi to everybody, until she went all the way to the back, and then looked to the corner. As she predicted and expect as much, that he's sleeping. but this time sleeping with a pillow, which kind of enraged her, but she decided to sit right next to him. And when Todoroki saw him, he sat right in front of him. A few more came in, and well, two people came in. The first one took the seat up front, same area, well, same row as Zuko, but he leans back, have his feet on the table, and just thinking that he's the best. Now, Ida finally came in. He scanned through the room and said hi to everybody at the same time. But he saw Bakugo first and asked him that he's very disrespectful and please get off of the table of the peers or be before him. And well, Bakugo remarked saying that you have a stick up your ass, and did you put it up there or did your last girl did it? Because I'd be grateful if I pulled that thing out myself. As Ida takes it back and thinks that they lose a battle, and he will tell the teacher about this behavior of a student and he should be immediately expelled. As he says this out loud, Bakugo saying, "You can do whatever you want, kid. Just don't get me into it." As Ida was trying to look for a seat, he saw another problem. Zuko. He did not see him anywhere, but he tells Zuko he slammed his hands down onto the table, which Todoroki looks back and looks forward again. Momo said, "Sir, that was really rude of you." As Momo remembered on how she would have waken him up, and Zuko is not waking up. He is staying asleep. That pillow is soft as like a marshmallow, and it smells so nice too. As Ida noticed that he has a pillow, and being a dick that he is, he grabbed the pillow itself and was waiting for the perfect second to pull it off and making him smash his head on the desk. And the moment that Zuko felt the pillow move a centimeter, he grabbed whatever was pulling at it and grabbed it tightly where now Ida let go and tried to struggle on pulling it off, and Zuko is not moving an inch. Zuko say in his pillow, well, he just raised up just enough and say, "Whoever touch my pillow again, you will lose this hand. Do I make myself clear?" With a very raspy voice. And Ida said, "Yeah, I got it. Let go." As he finally let go and hit the wall. Make a big ruckus, and some of the kids there are seeing this little interaction. Even Bakugo looks back and saying, "Huh." The four eyes had what's coming. Is when Zuko finally went back and grabbed it on his pillow, sleeping on it again. Moving on to another point of view, Momo thinks his voice sounds so good in the morning. How much she would love to hear that in her ear. But she decided not to say anything or not to show any emotion. So she just shakily looks forward and wait for the teacher. A few minutes passed by, and now Uraka came in. She kind of scanned throughout the whole room, hoping that that guy that saved her was there, but she couldn't see him. And she only can see his face clearly, but nothing else. And she kind of feels sad and sorry for all of this, and will sit around the average area that she usually sits. I can keep going. This is too much fun. Hold on. Oh well, I'll skip lunch. I'm eating dinner. Yeah, I'm good with that. Here we go. Everybody is now still loud and talking to each other, and Rock is being talked to by some guys, which is something. Not everything, but something. As the teacher finally walks into the room, having his morning nap after his classroom was really a wake-up call. Well, a wake-up. It really put him into spirits. As he gets into his class, that spirits are finally erased. Because his classroom is very loud. And he does not like a loud classroom. So he walks in and is fully expecting Zuko to be in the middle, up front. Because that's the only joy in his life right now. When he didn't see Zuko, he thinks he's somewhere else, but he tells everybody in the classroom to be quiet and sit down. They do, and learning that this is Aizawa, the teacher for class 1A. Aizawa's putting up his introduction, kind of, just his name, and he's a pro hero. As he looks around, still looking for someone, and he asks the classroom if they know the name of Zuko Midoriya. Two people knows, and they raise their hands saying, and he picked the guy, and the guy said, "Yes, I know of him. Is he in trouble or something?" As Aizawa said, "No. Can you pinpoint where he is?" As Todoroki said, "Okay." As he moves out of the way and points back and said, "There he is." As Aizawa said, "Okay." He knows that Zuko is awake by this time because he is flinching in just his ears enough where he can hear him. So Aizawa decided to do something different, and it will break his character by this point of the year. But he does not care for anything for Zuko. So he walks up in front of his table, his desk, and asks, "I am waiting for my hug." Zuko knows exactly what he's trying to do, and staying down and looking into his pillow. Aizawa walks straight through the tables, and everybody is curious on what does he mean by a hug. As someone was about to stand up and said, "No," as Aizawa said, "No, not you. I'm waiting for my hug." As he's standing almost right in front of Zuko and table. They have more space in this room, so it's not in too close of in the area. As Zuko is not budging. Aizawa said, "Oh, you want to play like that? I see." As he pulled out his wallet and said, "Huh, you look so cute in this picture. What would your friends say if I showed them this picture? You know, the one with bubbles, ducks, and your first time meeting with." As Zuko got up and grabbed the picture itself and took it away from him, ripped it, and said, as he just make it disappear. That's the first time that Momo And Todoroki sees Zuko being very scared. And Aizawa giving a smirk, an evil smirk, asking Zuko, "Where is my hug?" As Zuko said, "You tricked me, you traitor. It was a good nap too." As Aizawa said, "I do not care." Where? As Zuko said, "Ah, fine." As he gave a hug to Aizawa, saying, "Okay." He did take a deep breath in. He smells the coffee. It was such a sweet smell. He lets go. Zuko sits back down, put his pillow away, and Aizawa went back to the front desk. As Ida asked, "What's that all about?" "That was very inappropriate, sir, and you should have never be asleep during class." As he's trying to yell louder and louder, as he felt a smack in the head. He looks back and sees nothing there, but Zuko and Aizawa saw it, because everybody else was looking forward. Zuko smacked him outside the head with his own tail. And Zuko said, "Shut up, you're going to make it worse." Which they look over to Aizawa and said, "I was planning to go easy on you because I got my favorite hug. But because of him, everybody go outside now. Put on this uniform. We're going to do a quirk assessment. Don't be late." As Zuko said, "I had to pay the price and work. So annoying." As he gets up and leaves to the locker room, everybody else was complaining, but Aizawa leaves too. Aizawa was just walking right next to Zuko as everybody else was leaving, and the girls are watching him being so friendly to the teacher. Even the teacher is very nice to him, and asking what's so great about him. As two girls knows what's great about him. And Zuko just, yeah, I got it. I'll make sure to not hurt their feelings. As Aizawa said, "Great. I'll be waiting for you outside." As Zuko goes into the locker room, as everybody else finally gets into theirs and the girls to theirs. Now, here we go. It would be fun if something happened. Won't it be? Won't it be? I mean, I could stop here. But I do owe you guys a lot. Yeah, I'll get a meal at 7. Maybe you went tomorrow. Here we go. Now, Zuko, when he gets in there, he has some burn marks. But they are healing because, well, Nezu put him to the final test on how acid proof he is. And Zuko's still healing from that. And all through this whole time, Nezu knows about his healing factor and how effective it is when he eats human flesh. So he's trying to test how strong it can be without that initial boost of nutrients. Back in there, he's almost done. He has his shirt on, well, his pants back on, and when he's putting on his shirt, everybody else is just about changing into their pants. He was about to leave, but he noticed a certain smell that was very uncomfortable. And he looks back at all the guys, and they're not doing anything. But he looks at one purple dude, very small, leaning on a wall, and he didn't shut up. He said, "Look, guys, I found a hole." God damn that. I hate that sound so much. As he syrup up whatever flour he had in his mouth. And well, one of the guys tell him to quit it. We need to get back to the teacher, or he'll get mad at us. But Manila said, "But do you just want to see the glory that is on the other side, the girls' locker room?" As Zuko turns him around, well, grabs his head and leans closely and said, "Would you like to run that by me again?" As Manila said, "Come on, dude. It won't be that harmful. It's just some very beautiful women in the other side of the hole. You're a guy too. You must love to see it." And Zook said, "You're right. I would love to see your face be crushed by every single girl. But since I'm such a nice guy and my nap was somewhat interrupted, I'll give you a choice. One, you be caught by me and the girls. Or two, Aizawa will expel you and never let you become a hero again. So, which one is your choice?" Esmeralda said, "Okay, I'll back up. I'll." Zook said, "Good choice." And he looks over the hole, cover it. He decides to sprout out a small snippet of his armor, breaks it, and stick it into the hole, and somewhat filling up the rest of the parts with his armor. Jiro was hearing throughout this whole thing, and she just heard his deep, deep, deep voice. I'm trying my best to make it deeper. I can't do it. And she just felt such a rush down her spine as she gets dressed. Moving on to the next scene, as everybody's now standing in front of Aizawa, wondering what's going to happen next. Will I stop it here? I'll keep going. Zuko and everybody else was told to do some average stuff with their quirks, and Zuko showing them. Well, he's not showing off what he can do, but he's just using one ability, his tail. Just one tail is coming out, and he's bringing that out. Use it for everything, even side to side, which is somehow helping him go faster. Zuko's just moving his body weight with his tail to go faster to one side, and so on. Now, at the very end, the ball throw. As everybody thinks this whole thing was really easy and it was kind of fun, and Aizawa tells them that you have to throw it with your quirk. This ball as far as you can. As everybody gets a little excited. And Aizawa gets annoyed, and Zuko looks at them saying, "It was fun it was funny." As Aizawa said, "Oh, you think this is funny? This is fun, huh? Okay. Whoever gets the lowest distance on this ball throw will be expelled." Which now everybody's scared, because the ones that doesn't have physically built strong quirk like others are now worried. So everybody throws their hardest. The last three. Bakugo has a chance to throw it, and throwing as he winds up and said "die" at the explosion, making it all the way to 554 meters away. Next is Zuko. Zuko grabs it. Asks Aizawa, "Am I affected by this?" And Aizawa said, "No. Why would you be?" And Zuko said, "Great." As he drops it 1 meter away. He said, "Alright, bye." which some of them are annoyed that he's not taking this seriously, but they're more annoyed that Aizawa's taking favorite students' favoritism to a whole new level. As Araka finally comes up, and she tried to come up the courage to talk to him, but maybe this one will impress him. As she thinks about it, as she gets the ball and throws with her might, with her quirk, and after 5 minutes, Aizawa showed the whole class that she got infinity, which Izuku was very impressed and started clapping, which Araka fully appreciates that instance, and it was so nice. After everybody was getting scored, it shows that Zuko's at the very top, and they're asking how and why, and Aizawa said simply because I can. Everybody else feels somewhat disrespect, but they can't say anything because the being expelled is so much worse than a little bit of a jealousy. Because everybody was shown down, and the last person is Invisible Girl, which now she's kind of tearing up and crying. And Aizawa said, "Who here thought I was lying?" And two people raised their hand, Zuko and Momo. Zuko knows the real reason, but Momo thought it was just a lie at the very beginning. And Aizawa said, "Yeah, it was a lie. Just to show you guys that I'm not scared to expel any of you. I would have done it, but since my favorite student is here, I'll let it pass." As he walks away, saying that's the end of the class, you guys can do whatever you want for the rest of the school day. As now they're moving back to their classroom after changing, the guys were talking to Zuko about what's this deal on being the favorite student, and Zuko said, "Don't worry about it." As he goes over to his locker, well, his backpack actually, and pull out a packet. He breaks it, put it into some water, a bottle of water, mix it. As he asked Todoroki if he could warm this for him, as Todoroki said, "No, I'm not doing that." But Zuko said, "If you do, you'd be on the good side with Aizawa." And Todoroki said, "How good is his good side?" And Zuko said, "You get to sleep during class," which is a very good plus. Todoroki said, "Fine, I'll do it." Because he's good friends with Zuko and Zuko does not give a shit about anything, he likes that. So he does whatever he wants. So he heats up the water bottle that's actually in a tin can. So it's just better. Zuko poured it into a mug. As he gets into class, all the girls are there, and some of the guys are also there. Todoroki came in, and Zuko said, "With my help with my friend, the one that just came in, I was able to make it better." As he set down the coffee mug, as Aizawa grins with excitement, grab onto the very mug itself, his hand in the holder, the other hand on the cup, and he smells it like he's finally whole. And sips, saying, sip again, and he kept going until he finished. As now the rest of the classroom thinks, what did he put in that coffee that would make it have that reaction? As Zuko and Todoroki are, well, sleeping during class. They think they're allowed to do that because, well, Aizawa is happy and for the first time, it's quiet. And Aizawa is loving this peace and quiet. So an hour has passed, everybody awakens, and start to get loud, which now Aizawa gets annoyed because he finishes coffee, but it was so good that he just tells them, be quiet, this is quiet hour. As everybody, keep it down. Aizawa said, fine, I'll start teaching, as he started teaching about the whole classroom, about what's going on and all the other stuff. Momo is very paying attention to all of this. Todoroki awakened after around in the middle and pay attention, but Zuko still asleep. As Aizawa said, okay, that'll be the end of my period of time. The next teacher will be teaching you about heroics. You must pay attention to everything he says. Do I make myself clear? As everybody said yes, and Todoroki kind of shakes Zuko awake. Said, huh? What? As Todoroki explained what's going on, and Zuko said, oh, okay. Bye, Aizawa. As Zuko said, well, Aizawa said, well, bye. I'll be seeing you tomorrow, as well as everybody else. So when they're waiting for the next teacher, they're very excited and who it could be, and well, they don't know who it can. Zuko knows exactly who it is since he had to look at the roster himself. For Aizawa, since he knows that Aizawa will not be teaching correctly for the first few months or weeks, depending on how he feels. As now, they hear a knock, and All Might bursts through into the room, opening the door swiftly and almost breaking it, saying, I'm coming in as a normal person. And everybody's very excited, shocked, but only three are not. Zuko, Todoroki, and Momo. Momo is excited, but she wants to act very cool in front of Zuko. Zuko noticed that she's not acting how he expects her, but maybe she's just too rich to know. Oh well. As All Might explains about everything and tells them to go to ground G, but with style, and he pressed a button, laying out their hero costumes. They're all excited about this, and that is where All Might sees Zuko, and curious on what he can do with his tail. All Might is in the front, waiting for everybody else, and everybody finally came in with their hero costume, and the last one coming through, with steps in the hallway echoing through the whole thing, until he appears, and everybody looks at his costume, and did not expect it to be that way. And some of them kind of like it because it's so metal-like and hard, kind of like rock. It looks so cool too. And that is where I'm gonna end it. Mostly because I don't have a picture and I don't want to search it. So thanks for listening. Have a nice day. And I believe I'll do another one next week. Basically this time, but 7 days later. And that will be 30 minutes. So I say thank you for watching my tech talk. Bye. I mean, really, just bye.